Bjorn.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, yes.
How's the weather over in England?
It's been very grey.
Has it?
We did have some sun yesterday, but yeah. I have solar panels on my roof, so I notice these things.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Well, it's beautiful, clear blue, but very, very cold.
I did notice the weather report. I've got Salt Lake City on my list, and I thought it was minus degrees at some stage.
Yep.
Although it says 2 degrees now.
It has been. No, in fact, we were up skiing during the weekend.
I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about it. Okay, tell me about it.
Well, it's not our traditional, beautiful, happy powder Utah snow yet. Right. We've got a little bit of time, but it was fun to be up there. But it was, I think we woke up Saturday morning and it was -5, and it was cold. It was very cold.
So that was -5 is Fahrenheit?
Fahrenheit, yes.
Wow. Yeah, okay, that was cold.
Yeah.
First I thought Celsius. I said, okay, yeah, well, that's not too bad.
No. Fahrenheit. Yes, I should be talking in Celsius. So how are things in England with COVID?
Yeah, that's a good question. They instituted a second lockdown. Can't remember when that was. About a month ago or something like that.
Okay.
Actually, probably a little bit. Yeah, no, about a month ago. And then we've just come out of that today, but into a new scheme where they are slicing the country up into different tiers depending on how bad it is in those tiers. Okay. And depending on how the tiers are, then you can or cannot do certain things.
So some areas will kind of remain in a quasi lockdown. Other areas will have a bit more freedom.
Yeah. So there's only there are only two areas that have the most freedom.
Right.
And when I say areas, those are counties. So not that big.
How about your county?
So we're in the middle tier.
Okay.
So a bit more freedom than before, but not a huge amount.
Interesting.
And then they've also said that for Christmas, people will be allowed to meet up to three families together.
Okay. Now, would that be Mormon-sized families, Catholic-sized families, or?
I think that's any size family, just 3 families, 3 households, 3 households. 3 households. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now, we're on basically 10 people. It has to be less than 10 people.
Yeah.
And we got an invitation yesterday for a German Advent party on the 13th of December, and there were over 40 people invited to it.
Wow.
And on the invitation, they said, we'll have masks available if you want to wear them. And I'm going,
it's one of those.
That's not going to work for us. And so I responded and I just said, I'm sorry, we will need to decline. Have a wonderful time, but it's just it's not safe.
Yeah. Even in this middle tier that I'm in, I can't meet anybody indoors.
Okay.
Although I can't quite figure out that there is something about being able to. I can apparently go to a restaurant. I think I'm not quite sure whether I can meet anybody that I know. So yeah, not quite. There's some of the rules that I can't quite figure out. If you want to hear some of the funny stories, there was a special advisor to the Prime Minister who it's a long story. He was also quite instrumental in Brexit. But anyway, he several months ago he caught COVID, and nobody was allowed to. This was during the first lockdown. Nobody was allowed to travel. He traveled up to his parents, and all the ministers were defending him, saying, "Well, that was sort of common sense, even though it might have been a little bit against the rules." But they also found out that he had gone to a local castle. And as an excuse, he used that he had gone to check out because he thought he'd had something with his eyesight, and he had gone on this car ride to check his eyesight whether it was good enough. So that
Is anybody buying that?
So that's people's excuse nowadays. If well, I'm just out checking my eyesight.
Oh goodness, there's some craziness in this world right now.
Yeah.
So look at everybody else.
Hello, Kim.
How are you, Casey?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Is everyone watching? So now with Light the World, Temple Square is doing a special, like a special message and a special program every evening. So everyone needs to tune into that.
Yeah, it's really fun, isn't it?
Yeah. So you might see my daughter a couple of times.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So where can one tune into that? On the church website or?
Yeah, it's Temple Square Facebook page, and it's also there's one called Finding Faith in Jesus Christ at Temple Square. There's a couple of Temple Square Facebook pages, and there's links to it from there. So yeah, it's all good stuff.
Change his name to Melissa.
I know. I was like, who's this Melissa Lange?
Yeah. I wondered the same thing until I saw his face.
Marco, have you learned anything, got any more information about your father's missionary service as a construction missionary?
Yes, we have made a map, and we have lots of informations and pictures. So it's very good.
Cool.
Have you received any pictures of yourself from the missionaries?
No, actually not so much.
Were you dodging the camera?
Me?
No, Marco. Maybe Marco was dodging the camera.
What does dodging mean?
Moving out of the way.
Moving out of the way.
Oh, better?
No, he meant during your mission time.
Oh, okay. No, I don't have a camera at all.
Du hast die Bilder vermieden.
Ich habe keine Kamera gehabt. Nein, ich habe mich nicht gedrückt davor.
Nein, auf Mission, du hast dich immer versteckt, wenn
Nein,
Leute Bilder geknipst haben.
nein,
Nein?
vielleicht,
Nein?
nein. Vielleicht war ich einfach nicht wichtig genug.
Das glaube ich nicht.
So I had all of my mission photographs, all 800 of them, turned into digitals or digitized. And Cynthia Smart was over here. This was a few months ago. And I said, oh, Cynthia, I've got the most fun pictures. And we were going through them. She looked at me, she says, I think I need to pay half of the digitizing of your photographs. And I said, why? She says, I did not take one picture on our mission. And she said, but I'm in so many of your pictures. She says, I just need a copy of everything you did. She said, and I said, well, you did. But it was really funny. She never took a picture the whole mission, and never had pictures to show her kids until I was able to send her pictures. So.
But when she has no camera, why could she have some pictures?
She had a camera with her. She never used it.
Oh, that's something different. Can somebody remember that we had Mission P Day and played flag football?
Yes, I have pictures of that, many pictures.
Okay, maybe I'm one of the pictures.
You
because I
are,
was-
you're in several of the pictures.
Siehst du? But you have all the pictures, not I.
As soon as I can figure out how to now move them from my iMemories digital account into my other photograph account, then I'll start loading them, because there are some really fun pictures. There are also some pretty funny pictures in there. So, but one of these days I'll figure that out, but I've got to get through Christmas, and we're still trying to get back to China. So it's a little crazy.
Okay.
When you say I'm memories or something like that, what is that?
iMemories is a company. It's like Legacy Box, and they take all of your like millimeter film, photographs, slides, and they digitize all of it.
And that's where they are currently?
They're in a file that I have access to, and they're all digitized, but I can email a photograph very easily.
Okay.
I want to be able to put them into like my Google photo group or my Apple photos, so that then I can upload into Facebook or Instagram or one of those, and I can't figure that out yet.
They don't have like an export or anything that you've.
Not from what I can see. Within the photograph itself, I can like send it to somebody. That's very easy, but to send it to Facebook or one of those, I haven't figured that out yet.
So all what you need is an email address?
Yes. So
Okay.
send me your email address and I'll go through and find everything that you're in, Marco.
That's a good idea.
Ja, das kann ich machen.
Dankeschön.
Bitteschön.
And do you know when you took the picture?
I have the dates. I think the dates are part of it.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Or about. I can tell by who my companion is.
That's important.
So if they're not right on the digitized version, I know which companion I was with, and I know all the months of each of the companions. So I have a pretty good general idea.
Good.
In fact, some of the pictures that are so endearing now, pictures of Lori Bueller, and also of, my brain just fell out of my head.
Jim Nelson?
No.
Stacey
Who did we just lose?
Lotke.
No, not Lotke.
No, Lotke, I mean, Gruen. No,
Goodness,
No, not Grund. Who did we just lose?
Ronald. Goodness.
Ronald Goodnesson. I've got some absolutely amazing photographs of Ronnie. Just beautiful photographs that I'm going to send to Bettina for Christmas. So yeah, just some really sweet pictures. Okay, we need updates. Ramona, what are you doing?
I just finished my exercise and got out of the shower. I actually, last night I started coaching for the first time on a club volleyball team.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I'm doing. Trying to, and I've got lots of laundry to fold, so that's where I'm headed. But I don't have any anything new. We had a pretty quiet Thanksgiving. We did have some neighbors over. He used to be our home teacher for years. And so that was kind of fun, but we can't see I just dropped off some stuff to my mother-in-law, who's basically under quarantine at her facility. It's just an adult
Like assisted living.
community, yeah, adult living community. But she's not allowed to leave, or else they'll put her in quarantine for 2 weeks, which is kind of funny because she's in quarantine anyway. So anyway, that's about it. Trying to get, oh, I do. Who's on here? I don't have glasses on, so I can't even tell.
Let's see. We have Grabek, Lange, Lay, Grun, Knepper, Alder, Rogers, Grant, and myself.
Oh, okay. Well, Danica really, really, really wants to go to a BYU football game. So I was hoping Rich would be on and find out if there was any way of getting a ticket to the San Diego game.
I would call him directly.
Okay. Can do
His
that.
son Drew's got quite a bit of playing time with the blowout wins that BYU's had.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's done really well.
He's always helping the opponent up off the field. I love that.
Can't
Every
you see
time-
his dad being the
every time I
same way?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, every time I see him, he's helping the opposing player up off the field. The guy that he just slammed into the ground.
There's something I probably haven't ever told anybody. 2 months ago, today, I think, I had a little tremor. I was at a volleyball game watching my daughter, and I had a little tremor in my hand, and I couldn't grip. And so I thought that was a little bit weird. So but I didn't really think much of it. But I was supposed to go ride Big Cottonwood Canyon with a friend the next day. And so I kind of had nightmares during the night, and I had a few tremors happen again, and still thought I was going to be okay. And then as I was filling up my water bottle to go on the ride, it happened as I was trying to grab for ice. I had the tremor and I couldn't grip. And I thought, there is no way I can do this. What if I'm coming down the hill and I can't grip my right brake? So I canceled. And then just maybe an hour later, when I was going to do some other exercise, my hand, I was trying to pull up some pants, and my hand just curled up like this.
Oh.
And I couldn't release it. And it was kind of like a seizure. And I ran down, and my husband was on a phone call, and anyway, he left the phone call, and it finally released. But then when it released, I had absolutely no muscle control at all in my hand. It was just floppy. And finally I got that back. But as we headed to the emergency room, and as it turned out, after 9 hours in the emergency room, they finally got results back they did a CT scan and didn't show anything, but the MRI came back, and I had a blood clot in one of the veins in my brain. And so that's what had caused the seizure, but they didn't know what caused the blood clots, and they still really don't know. They thought it could have been taking tamoxifen.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent general conference weekend in the neurology, in the hospital, in the neurology department.
Ramona, did they take you off of tamoxifen?
Yes, immediately. They took me off of it immediately. And then as I'm talking, like a month ago, I didn't tell my sister till about a month ago. And she's like, I had one a year ago that was in her bowels. She had a blood clot in her, one of the
Ouch.
veins in her bowels, like the mesoteric or something like that. Anyway, and she's like, yeah, I didn't take the tamoxifen because mom and Aunt Margaret and all these aunts had blood clots. And I didn't know that. I had no idea. But I've been on tamoxifen for 4 years and it never did anything. So
Okay, so do all of you men know what tamoxifen is?
No.
I do now. I have it up on my
Tamoxifen
phone.
is, and I unfortunately am also one that was on I was on tamoxifen. It's a hormone blocking drug given to women that have had breast cancer or female related cancers. And so if there are any rogue cancer cells that happen to be off in your body, and female related cancers often feed on estrogen and progesterone. And so if you have this rogue cancer cell in your body, tamoxifen blocks progesterone and estrogen so that the cell cannot grow. And we're on the drug for about 5 years. And I unfortunately was only on it for, I shouldn't say unfortunately, I was on it for a year and I had pulmonary embolisms and almost died from the pulmonary embolisms.
I didn't know that's what it was from.
Yeah.
Kim, I am involved in cancer research, and that was probably one of the best descriptions I've heard. Just a simple, straightforward description of what tamoxifen does. That's great.
Thank you. In my Chinese, Japanese bow. It's tamoxifen, and then I went on Arimidex, which is a similar drug. They literally are, when I think of things that I am thankful for, as difficult as it was to be on those drugs. And it was difficult. It was painful. I felt like I was 80 years old for about 5 years because every joint in my body hurt. And yes, tamoxifen almost took my life, but I'm alive today because of those drugs.
Yeah, and I think that's huge. They actually were going to change me to the Arimidex in August when I went in, but I hadn't had any trouble with the tamoxifen, and I'd heard such horrible stories about joint pain from you and from other friends from the Arimidex that I was just like, I don't think so. I don't want to do that. And
Yeah,
so now I'm just not on either one. So I'm happy about that.
Woohoo!
Now I'm on Eliquis and Keppra.
Oh, great, for blood clots.
Yeah.
So, well, Knepper, what are you? So, what are you're doing research?
Well, I work for what's called a contract research organization. Basically, what we do is, the major pharmaceutical companies and smaller companies they pay us to do their clinical trials or manage their clinical trials for them. So I'm involved in clinical research.
And I translate all their documents.
Really? Yeah.
What I'm doing right now, as a matter of fact.
Sorry, I had to.
I missed who that was. Is that Casey or no? Who's that?
Aaron.
Oh, okay. Down there.
You are the dog.
Right. So you do the translations.
Looks like it's getting help from the dog.
Yeah. Yeah, he wants my attention today.
That's canine language.
That looks like a little dog.
Well, it would have to be unless, yeah, it is a little dog. He's on my lap. So.
Hey, Rick Farmer.
Howdy,
You're
howdy. Just driving.
Hey, Rick, not to pull in anything personal, but just so you know, your son's application went to CTCI. And it's being transferred to the CTCI office in Houston.
Okay.
And so hopefully we'll hear something later. So this is networking, guys. If your kids need internships in engineering.
I appreciate it. We'll see what happens. Thanks, Kim.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What type of engineering?
So electrical, although he's now thinking he might go to computer engineering.
Mhm.
We lost you, Rick.
Oh yeah, I'm kind of in the mountains. Electrical engineering.
Okay.
Yeah, although he's now wavering. He's just started his second year. He got 1 year under his belt before he served his mission, and he served it in Taiwan. And that's why I reached out to Kim, because her husband, of course, is very tied in Asia. So, but he's wavering between electrical and computer now.
Most electrical engineers end up doing computer software or other computer related things anyway.
Yeah,
Well,
could be, yes.
In the data center world, they need mechanical, electrical, and civil engineers. And so Mark is always looking at all of them. So.
Perfect.
What about manufacturing engineers?
Not with what my husband does. Now, unless it falls into supply chain, and if it falls into supply chain, that is something that he's always looking at because of the volume of purchasing they're doing for the building of these data centers throughout Asia.
Right.
So yep.
Yeah, my son's still looking.
Is he?
Yeah.
Graduated already?
What's that?
Did he graduate already, Casey?
Yeah, he graduated. He worked for IM Flash for 2 years, and then IM Flash was bought out by the M piece, which is Micron.
Oh, Micron. Okay.
They did this big major restructuring, and so he was let go last February, and he's been looking ever since. COVID hit right after he was let go, so it's been a big wrench in his search.
You know, it's really interesting to see the impact globally and the different industries and how it has, of course, helped some industries like the Amazons and the retail side and any online type businesses. But when it comes to construction, really construction of any kind, huge, just total stops and not moving forward with projects until they see, you know, COVID outfall.
Not housing construction in Utah. It's gangbusters, and you can't.
Not housing construction in Utah.
You can't get anybody to come do your work for you because
Nope.
they're all busy.
You can't.
They want like $30,000 to do a master bathroom. That was what our quote was, to have our master bathroom done. So,
That's not crazy for a bathroom.
yeah, our neighbor said theirs was 40, but they were knocking out different walls and stuff.
Yeah.
So well, my husband will break down and do it himself, I guess.
Oh, it is Mr. Bott.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi, Ellen.
If you're wearing a tie, you can move the camera down.
We've got both Eric and Alan are in ties.
Is the church office open or?
Yeah, it's just I work harder than Alan, so that's why.
Agreed.
No, to be honest, I don't know anybody that works harder than Alan.
Well, speaking of ties on Zoom meetings, I wear a tie to the bishopric meeting, but I have a t-shirt and robe on too. But I got the tie on.
I'm surprised you haven't come up with a facade on your screen with just a shirt and tie so you can stay in your bathrobe and t-shirt.
Well, I own it. My boss says I look like Obi-Wan Kenobi with the robe.
Oh, funny.
The force is definitely with you.
I wish
Yeah.
that was true right now. I got transferred to a different group for 6 months on loan because they need some help starting yesterday, and it's stuff I know nothing about. So I've been struggling the last day or two. We'll figure it out, but it's not what I'd want to be doing right now.
Where are
So-
the lakes? Does
Oh.
anybody know what's up with the lakes?
I haven't talked to them for a couple of weeks.
How's President Lake doing? Is he feeling better?
I think that is a definition that we cannot clearly define. Is he doing better than he was when he was in the hospital? He's more stable.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know if I'd say he's really feeling all that great. He'll tell you he's doing great.
Yeah.
That's his job.
Yep. Yep. But
And
this,
can we ask what's going with Wendelien? Or is that too private?
She has a number of health issues and they can't nail down what's going on. I'm
Okay.
sure she wouldn't mind. She's probably teaching institute right now. That's probably why she isn't on the call. But I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you reached out to her personally.
Okay.
It's been over the last few years, though. It's not something sudden. It's just, you know how things add up over time and they weigh heavy on you.
So what happened with, I didn't get the news about Elder Goodness. What was that?
oh, he had a massive coronary and just suddenly died, was having some problems, but didn't tell anybody. Couple of months prior to, Bettina found him collapsed in their bathroom. What has it been, you guys, 3 months ago?
Something like that.
But he died instantly. He was gone. Bettina's had really beautiful, loving support from her family. And her brothers have just been incredible. The whole family was able to fly to Iceland for the funeral, and they were up there together, and they were there together for quite a while. But she really is doing, in fact, I exchanged a couple of messages with Bettina about a week and a half ago. And you guys, she is just such a love and filled with so much faith and just so positive. So positive. But this is going to be a tough Christmas.
So what kind of sickness Goodness had?
He had a heart attack.
Oh, okay.
Massive heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he knew, Bettina said that he had made a comment a couple of weeks before, just that he might need to get in to see a doctor, and he didn't know. So, yeah, very, very sudden and too young.
There was a member of my ward who served in Iceland and spent a lot of time with Ronnie and his family and just loved them. He's been home from his mission for about a year now, but spoke glowingly of them as a family.
No, it's hard to believe.
Well, yeah, especially since this summer we had I didn't really know him that well. I don't think I ever served in an area with him, but I had met him a couple of years ago when he had come out. Maybe it was probably more like 3 or 4 years ago when they had come out. And it was just so weird to have, he'd been on all those phone calls and getting to know him a little better from the phone calls or the Zoom calls this summer. I thought that was just really kind of a cool thing that I had gotten to know him a little bit before he passed on, because he truly was a wonderful person.
You know, Ramona, I think I have a picture of you with Ronnie in the mission.
Oh, really?
It was a transfer at the München Bahnhof. There was a whole group of missionaries, and Ronnie was there. And I don't think it's just the two of you, but it's Ronnie with a whole bunch of us.
Yeah.
And you're there. I think it's when you were transferred into Munich.
Okay.
But yeah, I really need to get these pictures to a point or to where I can upload them, because there are every single one of you. I think I have pictures of every single one of you, especially Elder Bott, because I even have MTC pictures with Elder Bott.
I'll send a check, Kim, to keep some of those pictures private, okay?
Eric, some of the most vulnerable ones are you.
You hold on to those, and the cash will keep flowing.
I've got one of Ronald, which I never wanted to share, but now that he's no longer with us, maybe this is okay.
Oh, look at that. Oh, those are great. Now, how many people didn't Ronnie's brother also serve in our mission?
He did, but earlier.
Earlier, okay.
He married somebody from Ellwangen.
Okay. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Because Bettina's sister-in-law, married to Christian, is from, well, Feucht, just outside of Nürnberg. So they kept it in the family.
Ronald's wife has gone inactive, though.
Bettina?
No. Ronald, sorry, not Ronald's wife. Ronald's brother's wife is what I meant.
Oh, really? And does she live in Iceland?
I believe so.
Okay. Interesting. Well, I ran into, I don't know if I'd say it's a familial connection, but a kind of connection with the Schwarz family out of Feucht Gemeinde. And one of the, so I can't remember all their names. There was President Schwarz, who served with President Lake, right? He was one of his counselors. Is that right?
President Spitzer was.
No, Spitzer. No, it's Spitzer. Sorry, it's Spitzer. Sorry, I'm messing up names. And so one of President Spitzer's sons now lives here in Draper.
Raymond.
Yes. And Raymond's daughters, I ended up somehow, they said their name was Spitzer, and I said, like, Feucht Spitzer? And, she says, well, yes. And so it was kind of fun. She's a student at BYU, and it's my niece that she knows. So it was kind of fun to make that connection. And there are lots of Spitzers running around.
I have a quick story about the Spitzers. One of their children, I don't know if it was daughter or son, one of them was getting married when we were there, and they had all the missionaries came to the reception or to the, I don't know, some kind of party, and it was just dragging on and on. And so Rolf Kyle was there. He had just come back from the Hamburg mission, and he looked over to me and said, do you want to get out of here? And I said, yeah. So he and I just took off, and we just went and started going door to door in the village that the Veranstaltung was at. So we spent a couple hours going door to door with him, and then we came back and went home. And I love the Kyles. I'm sure a lot of you guys know the Kyles, but they're an amazing family too. A lot of those families up from there, from the Nuremberg area, they're no longer on our mission, but they're amazing. Yeah,
Rolf was on his mission when I was in Coburg, but Andreas and Johannes would go door to door with us, and they were 100 times better than we were. They were just fantastic. Their father played organ for us, but he also played for a Lutheran church in Coburg.
Oh, that's great.
Right.
That's great.
Yeah, if you're a good organ player, you can do that.
I think he got paid more at the Lutheran church, though.
Mhm.
The key word is paid.
Yeah, so Elder Lenhart, when before his mission, he used to play the Catholic church every Sunday for, he'd get paid.
I've got my daughters take lessons from a woman by the name of Camille Brady. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Janine Brady, who wrote all these funny LDS kids songs. Or anyway, she's done it for a year. I don't know which church it is, but it's a church close by here in Sandy. She's played the organ for them for years. So
There's
she'd
gonna
come
come
to
a
our
time
work.
that only members of the church play organs and pianos.
Yeah.
No, we years ago, our granddaughter wanted to take piano lessons, and the piano was so important to my husband that Mark said, we will pay for any of our grandkids who want to play the piano. And this morning I was setting up automatic payments for next year in one of our accounts, and one of those was money for piano lessons for 4 of our grandkids up in Oregon. And I sat there and I was going, we're investing a lot of money in these piano lessons, but it's worth every single penny. And they're always so excited to say, hey, look what I've learned. In fact, one of our granddaughters will be here for the next 2 days. And she's like, do you have a piano that I can practice on? We're like, of course we do. Happy to have you playing for us. So still important.
Well, I think piano lessons are kind of the bane of my daughter Faith's life, but it's something that we have insisted they do. And my older daughter grew to really love it. She didn't like it at first, but by the time she was about 13, she took some lessons, started taking from one of our neighbor's sons who was in college and getting his degree in music and art. And he taught her all about the music theory. And that's why she loves it. Most people hate music theory. And that's what made her love the piano lessons, to know why she was playing a certain way or whatever. So
That's cool.
you never know what's going to draw them in.
Kids go back and forth. My daughter liked guitar for a long time, and now she hates it, and she'll like it again. But she still gets this stuff off when she's by herself, her acoustic down or her ukulele, and plays it. And she has our keyboard in her room now to do different things. But it goes back and forth. My son went through the phases as well, liking it, not liking his bass, and that's the
It's
problem.
usually directly proportional to how much we push.
Well, I told
That's
our
what
kids
I
as long as
find.
they live at my house, they're going to be playing an instrument and doing physical sport of it. And in our house, swimming, that means swimming, because we just don't have enough time and energy to go 5 different places every day. And they started off with bass guitar and guitar for the 2 of them, and so that's what they do until they leave the house. They're going to be doing it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
I didn't read the book about the tiger mom from that Chinese lady in New York, but I read the controversies and articles about it in the New York Times. This is like 10 years ago. And something that struck me was kids won't do what is hard to do. They'll take the easiest path. It's like water going down a hill. They'll take the easiest path. And so no kid is going to willingly choose to practice an hour a day, or I guess in China, 5 hours a day or 40 hours a day. But if we encourage them and kind of just tell them it's expected and they do it, they'll end up appreciating it when they become adults, if nothing else, and they'll get good at what they're doing. Because most kids would rather sit around and play video games, or sit around and watch TV, or do some whatever their hobby is for at the moment, because it seems to change every other week. And they need a little bit of that structure, which is why they go to school, and we go to we do Come Follow Me and stuff, is to provide structure. But also it's like, well, you're going to play your instrument until you leave the house. Now I don't sit there and, and hit them over the head with it every day, but they know it's the expectation, and some weeks we do better than others, but
That's the same.
Tomorrow I'll be driving my daughter down to Orem for her lesson and her band practice, which they haven't done for a couple of weeks because of the governor's request to avoid external activities. And she likes going because she has friends there. And and next year she'll like playing the guitar again, right? Sometimes she's excited afterwards of a new song they're learning. And then 2 days later, when I'm telling her to practice, she'd rather be doing something else. So at that moment when she'd rather be doing something else, she doesn't like it anymore. It's just part of being a kid. I think all teenagers are like that.
So there's an interesting, in China, we have this, it's an English term. The Chinese don't use it. We call it little emperor syndrome. And the reason we say little emperor is because the majority of the children in China are males, especially because of the one-child policy that existed for too many years, which, by the way, doesn't exist anymore, but that's another story. And the little emperor syndrome is this because of the one-child policy and only having this one child, and the majority of the time it is a male, everyone in that family focuses all of their energy on that one child. The grandparents from both sides, the parents, and these boys never ever learn to do anything for themselves. Yes, they have to study, but it's a grandparent or a parent who is constantly writing them and constantly getting them to do things. Sports is not a big deal in China, and only within the last 5 years has sports become something that they're going, oh, we should be doing this. But what has happened because of these now decades of coddling these males, it is very, very difficult to find a competent Chinese male, one, that a girl will even marry, but number two, that even knows how to be a good partner and knows how to work. And so when Mark has hired, my husband Mark has hired people, has hired Chinese, one of the first questions as he's interviewing them is, where did you go to high school and where did you go to college? And if they went to high school in another country without their parents, he knows they're going to be a better candidate. If it's someone who went through their whole educational system only in China, he knows they're never going to be able to hack what needs to be done because they've never ever been taught how to work. They don't know how to dress themselves. I mean, you guys, this is not a broad stroke. This is unfortunately the norm instead of the exception. And so we call it little emperor syndrome because they don't know how to do anything on their own. And then they get into the work world and they're being asked to work 10, 12-hour days and they can't hack it, so they quit. And it's just a really interesting aspect of the culture. You don't see this in Taiwan. You do not see this in Japan. But in mainland China, it's really a problem.
No need for the US to be afraid of China then. Huh?
My husband says all the time, we don't need to be afraid of China. What were you saying, Ramona?
I was going to say, what do you think of the Crazy Rich Asians?
Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard at that movie.
I thought it was awesome.
I laughed. Now the Singaporeans are not happy with the movie because they don't feel that it truly depicts them.
Yeah.
Does it depict the Crazy Rich Asians of mainland China? Yes, like to a T. Yep.
That's fun.
Yep. So
that's another movie That's another movie that Danica will watch like over and over and over again. Every time she's home, she's like, let's watch Crazy Rich Asians.
Okay, who have we not heard from? Paul, you snuck on.
Who's that?
Woods.
Paul Woods. How are you, Paul?
Paul, you're on mute.
Yeah, there we go. Hello. Doing well. Just hanging in there. Oregon's on lockdown like crazy. It's really bothering me. But we're about 2 weeks out from our first grandchild. That's kind of exciting.
Yay! Boy or girl?
Girl.
From the
It's our
Clarks?
oldest, sorry?
From the Clarks?
Nope.
You know that-
Nope.
Okay. I was
Our
going to say,
oldest
well, I
one.
just barely got married.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny. Our oldest son got married third. And we have 4 kids. Our daughter, who's the second, got married first. Then our son, third, got married second. And then our first son got married third. And we have 1 unmarried. But
Oh, he locked up.
our oldest son is the one who's having a child. And they're living in Newport Beach.
Okay,
So we're looking forward to going and visiting them.
that'll
The weather will be
fun.
nicer.
How many of us on here are grandparents?
Not me.
Okay.
So I have 4, and I found out this last week. Well, I knew that there was another one coming, but then I got word of another one. So I've got 4 with 2 on the way, and the 2 that are on the way are both due the first week of June.
Wow.
Oh,
So my son that was going to BYU Hawaii will not be going to BYU Hawaii.
That's a
They're gonna-
bummer.
They're going to stay in Provo.
I don't know about the rest of you, but every single grandchild, I feel like I'm given this new depth and level of joy that I have never experienced in my life. And every grandchild just deepens that joy. And to watch our little grandson this year, who was born prematurely, and we almost lost him and his mother back in June. That little boy, oh my gosh, it's like the best thing in the world. So Paul, when you hold that grandchild for the first time, just wait to feel your own heart grow, and you can feel it. It's amazing.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, thanks for rubbing that in.
Hey, you're
I'm
gonna
only, I'm only teasing, but my oldest is only 18 and I don't want her to get married for a while.
Yeah, I just like this grandparent idea sounds pretty nice, but I can wait for, cause my son's he'll be 18 in January, so my daughter's will be 13, so it's like I don't want to rush that too much.
Yeah, I want the grandkids badly, but I don't want them from my kids for a while.
Well, I think
My oldest is 29, and he has a friend who's also 29, and that friend already has 4 kids.
Oh, wow.
So he took a while getting started.
Well, I think I've been a grandparent the longest in our group. My oldest grandchild is 14 and 3 months. And
How's that possible?
how's that possible?
Yeah. Explain that.
Well, when a man loves a woman.
How can I have a 14-year-old granddaughter?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I've been married for 15 and a half years, and grandchild number 1 was born a year after we were married.
Okay.
But technically, I could be, her mom is 20, let's see, Melina is 22 years younger than I am, and my mom was only 20 years older than me. So I could absolutely be this grandmother to this child with no problem. But no, I have a group of friends that all of us got married at the age of 41. I got married at 41. And they're all 5 years older than I am. And all of them are currently in the teenager and missionary phase. And these friends look at me and go, "You did it right. You skipped the kids, you went right to the grandkids." And I am going to agree. So I did. I started out with grandkids. My husband's got 5 years on me.
What you're saying is we should get divorced and marry somebody else who has.
No, I'm not saying that at all.
You really want to bring back polygamy then?
No, I just are great. So I say about our kids, we, Mark and I together, have 3 kids. I never call them my stepkids. I never refer to them as just my kids. I say our kids. But when it comes to the grandkids, they're mine. They came into the family after me, and you always wonder, how is this going to look? And the Lord has given us sweet little signs that I'm a part of these grandkids. I am the only member of this family that has blue eyes and long eyelashes. And every single one of our 6 kids have blue eyes and long eyelashes. And so they're mine.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Well, congratulations to you, because it doesn't always work that way.
It doesn't, I know. But I've been fortunate. I have been. All right, who else?
Me.
Yes, Adelanga. Wir haben gar nichts von dir gehört.
I tried to share a few pictures with you. I didn't do that before, but I don't. Does that work?
Yes,
Ah,
yes.
yeah.
Oh,
Well done.
Well done. Elder Henry, do you know him as well?
Yes.
I don't remember him.
I remember him. I was trying to remember his name, but I remember the face.
I think I taught Henry in the MTC.
Oh, did you?
All right.
Wow.
Let's see.
Oh, wow.
Do you know where this is?
Nuremberg?
Nowhere where I was. There's too many people in the picture.
Yeah.
It looks
Where
like
is this?
Do you know people from there? Probably only the older ones.
Esslingen? Where is that?
That's Nuremberg.
Oh, Nuremberg.
Nuremberg Fall?
Nuremberg Ward Building.
Oh my goodness.
Do you
And I-
know Brother Strenz, for instance?
Oh my goodness. Wow.
Strenz, do you know him?
That name
Yes.
sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah, I recognize him.
Mhm. And
Although I
who
wouldn't
else?
have remembered.
Who else could you know? This is somebody from Feucht Ward, but you probably don't know them.
I don't, that boy doesn't even look familiar.
Probably, upsala. Probably the most of them are older.
Okay.
Do you know this ones?
They both look familiar. Who is that?
That's President Schwarz,
Oh my goodness.
Brother Schwarz from Feucht.
From Feucht.
Wow.
And we are visiting Sister Hara from Nuremberg. I don't know who knows her. Probably not. And this is just another welcoming from a missionary. And I guess you see where that is.
Gute Reise, hallo, Alex.
There might be people that you know as well. Oops. Sister Grabatz,
Oh,
Brother Heusner.
Elder Heusner, ja genau. How about the brother up on the, I don't know if it's going to be your left or the right, glasses, oh, yes.
That's a missionary. That's,
okay.
That's Brother Hart.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how about the
Sister,
woman in the blue jacket?
That's Sister De Falco. She has been Sister, I don't remember her name. When I was in Feucht, she was there as a younger mother. Weinhold, Sister Weinhold from Feucht. Yeah, you probably don't know so many of the others.
What about the tallest one with the black hair?
This one?
Over a little more. No, one more. Keep going. Glasses right there. Yeah.
Wouldn't know them. He's a fairly new convert.
Okay.
Or maybe you know Brother Price.
Oh my goodness.
Brother Price and his daughter Passionny Price.
Where?
This is his daughter Passionny Price.
Okay.
I guess that was it for now. But I'll find more pictures for next time.
Wow. Okay, there is a family, and I'm forgetting their name right now. They're from Feucht. Grasser?
Oh yeah, the grasses.
Jerry Grasser.
Yes, Jerry Grasser. So their son moved to Beijing 4 years ago.
Okay.
And he introduces himself, and I'm sitting there, and I remembered the Grasser name immediately. And I went, wait a second, like Feuchtgemeinde Grasser? And he goes, yeah.
Very good.
And so he was, his name's Jeremy, or I think it is Jeremy Grasser. And so he was with us in Beijing for about 1.5 years, almost 2 years.
I didn't know that he was there.
And then Jerry and his wife came to visit him and stayed with us in Beijing. And so it was fun.
We last saw them at the temple in Rome. There were missionaries there when we came to visit.
Okay.
But now they're back in Feucht as far as I know.
I think they are. I think they finished their mission.
Yes.
I remember Charmaine.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm. She's very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So my first area was Neumarkt, which was in the Feucht Gemeinde. So I don't remember quite as many people there because it was my first area, but we used to go every week to Feucht for district meeting. And one of my favorite things was the train engineer or driver or whatever was the same guy every week, and he had this way of announcing that we were getting to Feucht. It sounded like he was calling his dog, but he would say, "Here, Feucht, Feucht, here, Feucht." And I just, I don't know. It's just one of my favorite memories. It cracks me up.
So you also lived with Mutti?
What's that?
You also lived with the lady there, the older lady,
Oh, yeah, Frau Gerswein.
Frau Gößwein, Mutti.
Frau
We called her
Gerswein.
Mutti.
Tea.
Yeah, oh, wonderful lady. And I came home, I worked for years to try to imitate her sauerkraut, and I think I finally got it.
Mm.
But that was the first time. I mean, I was used to American sauerkraut. It's just sour, and I like it. But you know what? There was one day that she called us up and she served the sauerkraut. I'd been out maybe 2 weeks at this point, and that was absolutely the best sauerkraut I've ever had. And I had something like 3 or 4 servings right there. And she just, every time I asked for some more, she just got this huge smile on her face. And so then the next time that we went over there, and she kept asking me, schmecks, schmecks. But the next time we went over there, she had some more sauerkraut. And when we left, she said, "Here, you take the bowl." And so we took that back down to the apartment and enjoyed that for a while. But I don't think my companion, Elder Madsen, I don't think he enjoyed me too much because I ate a whole bunch of sauerkraut, and you know, it had an effect at the other end. But anyway, he thought I was disgusting.
I think we were the last missionaries there living with her because we closed the program in Neumarkt. So when we were gone, I guess nobody lived there anymore in with her, as far as I know.
That's sad.
Does anybody remember Hotel Wunder?
No.
Who's that?
There was this hotel. It had been a hotel called Hotel Wunder where there were all these Ghanaian refugees.
Oh yeah, you're talking about in around Feuchters?
In Neumarkt.
In Neumarkt.
Yeah. When I was in Neumarkt, and we had I think we had 3 members there. And my companion and I had been called to be the institute teachers for them. And one day when we came to do the lesson, they said, "Oh, we've got an investigator for you." And then the next week we've got another investigator for you. And they turned out to have 3 investigators. And then the branch decided to, I don't remember who it was, but somebody, they asked somebody to, who had like a minibus or something like that, to come and pick up all these members, because we suddenly had 6 members there, and we announced that there was going to be this bus picking up people, and the next Sunday, I think something like 12 people showed up that wanted to come to church.
Yeah. I remember 2 of the Ghanans. Joseph was one. Samuel, I think, or Daniel. What was the other one? I can look it up because I have that.
What year was that?
That was 84.
That must have been. Oh, sorry. Which one?
85.
For me, it was January and February '84.
You know, I wonder where.
I think I wasn't the. I didn't open up the program, but I think Feucht had been opened up not too. A couple of months before I went there. And I remember that apartment that we had with Falkusverein, there was this room filled with skis. I think my companion and I decided that the previous inhabitant had probably stolen them and never gotten rid of them.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was there from the end of '85 through the middle of '86, and I don't remember any Ghanaian members at the time.
Okay.
Oh, 86, that was when I came. I came in the end of 86 before.
Okay. And then my wife and I were able to visit Frau Gusswein in 1991. And she,
really?
Yeah, she was still, healthy and doing great. Of course, the missionaries weren't there anymore, but she said that one of her last visits was from President Burton, that he came and sang to her. So, but yeah, she cooked the best meals, her rotkohl, in addition to her sauerkraut and everything else she cooked.
Very, very good.
Yeah, I think it must be and somebody must have buttered her up or something like that because she never cooked for us.
You know, the sisters
Really?
never had a Frau Stern, or we never got one of those.
Yeah.
No, we just held Elder Lenhart's grandma
That's true. We did in Salzburg.
in Salzburg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
We
elders
did.
are
That's
helpless. Sisters are
She
not.
never cooked for us.
No.
So the
No.
Ghana's that were there were Daniel and Emmanuel and Joseph that I had referenced. I don't know if anybody remembers any of them, but
When
Don't
was that,
remember.
Elder Pepper?
that would have been very end of 84 and then into 85. I was there over Christmas and then transferred February.
Okay, that was
So Mark, you were there. You were there for Christmas in 85?
84.
84. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Because Ramona and I were in Feucht Christmas of 85.
Oh, okay.
yeah. We took over that program from the elders
Yep.
and that nasty apartment.
Well, but our apartment was in Feucht.
Yes.
Yes, right.
And do you know, Ramona, I just read in my mission journal about that apartment recently,
Oh yeah, I remember it very clearly.
and I had forgotten.
It was like our first night there.
Let's
We
put
got
it
to know
this
the
way.
neighbor.
We didn't understand what sex was prior to our missions. We learned a lot that night.
Yes, yes.
So
I
that
was
guy
in the
still lives
same
there, huh?
apartment.
I was going to say they must have been a very active couple because I
They
remember.
were.
I remember that
Yeah.
when it was our district leader who lived there, he was complaining about this.
Yeah, I was there in the same thing. Elder Hansen lived there with Elder Lice, and Elder Hansen would be saying, "I'm so tired of this." Yeah.
So I was there for 3 months, and Sister Campbell, Mary Lee, took over from me, and she got out of there, like she had them out of there within a week.
Yeah, they got a new
She's like,
apartment.
we can't stay here. I was like, really? You got out of there? How'd you do that? I didn't know we were allowed to tell them that the apartment was not, just wasn't conducive to missionary work.
Huh.
But they put the elders back in. So they didn't just get rid of
It's
the
a long
apartment.
doctor.
When
Very
we were there, when we were there, when they were not so active anymore. I think I was there 5 months and I only experienced it 1 or 2 times, as far as I remember. Who's Elder Dunn at that time? Tyler.
Okay, do any of you guys remember the Gilgers?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes. Munich, right?
No,
They lived in Feucht, but they were in that area. They were in the servicemen's branch.
Okay.
Or ward. But the Gilgers, so I've stayed very close with the Gilgers all these years. Catherine was baptized about 6 weeks before I was transferred in. Wait, Ramona, you were there first, right?
yeah, we transferred together. We took
Okay.
over the program together.
That's right. And so Catherine was baptized about, I want to say 3 to 6 weeks before we moved in. And then Ramona and I did Catherine's, a lot of her new member discussions. Russ, her husband Russ was a member of the church, but had been inactive for many, many years. And long story, but we stayed very close for many, many years. They're in Asia with us now. They now live in Hong Kong. They were in Shanghai for a little while, but it's been fun to have them in China and in that area with us. They just moved back to Hong Kong about 8 months ago. So wonderful, wonderful couple, still to this day. So,
And then I wonder who also knew the Fullers that never did join, but they were the Black family that
Nuremberg.
I have them on Facebook still. Yeah.
yep. Yep. No, still found. In fact, Fuller's mom and dad were supposed to come and stay with us in Tokyo. And their tickets were for April of 2011, 5 weeks after the earthquake and the tsunami. And so they canceled the trip. So, yeah.
How long since you were in Tokyo?
We moved to Tokyo in the fall of 2010. And then we moved from Tokyo to Beijing in December of 2012. But yeah, Chad, you came in, I think you came to see, you stayed with us in 2012.
Yeah, that was right before, it was right before you left then, because it would have been in December.
Oh, did you come? No. You came in 2011. You came after.
It was a long time ago. That's all I remember was a long time ago.
Yep.
I have another question. Do you know, well, some of you must know my daddy, Elder Bachmann.
Elder Bachmann.
Elder Bachmann, Chris Bachmann.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is somebody still in contact with him?
I'm not. How about you, Eric?
No, I haven't. I don't think I've had contact with him.
The next companion was Elder Kirchenmann. Do you know him?
Yeah, Elder Kirchenmann's in St. George.
Somebody in contact with him?
A little bit.
A little bit.
He's come to some of the, it's been a few years now, but he came to the reunions and stuff. I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago that he came to the first one, and we talked for a long time.
Yeah, he hasn't ever married.
Oh, he didn't remarry? I thought he was divorced.
I thought he'd never married, but I could be
No,
wrong.
I think he is divorced and he has one child or something like that. He stayed at my home that night at that reunion. And yeah, I think that's what I remember.
Wait, he's a therapist in St. George. Still in the church.
Is he on the address list that Eric has?
I'll take a look. I'm not sure.
The one I keep asking about is Elder Strawn. Did anybody ever have any contact with him? He was at BYU, and we dated for a little bit, but then he got married to he was older than the rest of it. He went out as a 25-year-old. He was in the mission, was when he went on his mission. He was a new convert, and he ended up marrying this girl that was from Springville, and she was like 18. And I haven't heard anything really about him since.
I don't have an email address or a Facebook page for Kirchenmann.
Okay, we'll try to track that down.
See if I have a phone.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Okay.
And Bachmann as well, if you have it.
Strawn, I don't have anything for Darren Strawn either. I think Bachmann is on Facebook. I do have a Facebook account link for him. I sent him a friend request and he hasn't replied, so I think that means he just doesn't want to be my friend. Maybe somebody else did it. He was active on, looks like he's somewhat active on Facebook. It may be that just people sending stuff to him. But.
Okay.
Matthias, in welcher Gemeinde bist du?
Nürnberg.
Ach, oh, Nürnberg, okay.
Ich komme aus Hannover, Hannover-Pfahl, aber ich bin jetzt seit 25 Jahren hier in Nürnberg Oder erst war ich in Bayreuth 1 Jahr und dann bin ich nach Nürnberg gezogen. Und ja, vorher allerdings auch auf Mission war ich hier für.
Was
war in
machen Sie
Voigt, war in
beruflich?
Neumarkt. So, ich war ein bisschen im Verein. Und
Mhm.
Coburg war meine erste Stadt.
Aha.
Matthias, beruflich, was magst du?
Bin Ingenieur, Produktionsingenieur und ja, arbeite also ich arbeite hauptsächlich mit Prototyping, so Rapid Prototyping und Milling und Vacuum Casting. Don't know if you know those kinds of things.
Ist das nicht, was die Spitzers gemacht haben?
Die Spitzers haben, glaube ich, auch mit Kunststoff gearbeitet, ja. Aber damals habe ich mich mit denen wenig darüber unterhalten.
Hast du irgendwelche Proben, die du uns zeigen kannst?
Wie bitte?
Hast du irgendwelche Proben, die du uns zeigen kannst? Im Haus, zu Hause?
Naja, also nichts, ihr müsst euch einfach vorstellen, das sind Teile, die sollen als Prototyp schon genauso ausschauen wie ein späteres Serienteil. Also kann man sie kaum unterscheiden und schon gar nicht auf einem Bildschirm. Wenn sie gut sind, kann man sie nicht unterscheiden. Also was wir zum Beispiel viel gemacht haben, ist Lichttechnik für Scheinwerfer und Rückleuchten, so funktionierende Baugruppen, bevor sie überhaupt in Serie produziert werden. Das ist mein Job.
Hört sich interessant an.
Ja, immer was Neues.
Und zu Hause hast du auch einen 3D-Printer und so weiter?
Nicht zu Hause.
Nee,
Nein,
du lässt das da im Büro.
genau.
Zu Hause ist es zu Hause, nicht in der Arbeit.
Und wir arbeiten schon mit 3D-Printers like for 25 years.
Ja.
They have been a little bit different at that time, but they were already existing. So nobody works in the same field? Nobody of you?
Nope.
Nope.
You're unique.
I guess everybody is.
We're all unique, just like everybody else.
Thank goodness.
Well, I need to finish some stuff up, so I'm gonna bow out.
Me too, you guys. I've got
Ich auch.
I've got another business meeting in 10 minutes, but yeah.
It's good to see everybody.
Thanks again, Eric, for always putting this together. We love it.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
My
Eric,
pleasure.
has the link changed, you know, because it was different than this time than what I was using before. So is that the
Yeah,
new link?
I was using a church account and I'm now using a personal account.
Do we need
Okay.
to, is there cost involved in that? Do we need to help you out there?
No.
Okay.
I mean, you can always send me money, Ramona, but
All right.
there's none associated with Zoom.
Just make sure you mark it correctly.
All right, you guys, take care and Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Ja, Merry Christmas.
Frohe Weihnachten.
Take
Ja,
care.
genau.
Frohe Weihnachten.
Genau.
Frohe Weihnachten.
Frohe Jul.
Tschüss.
Tschüss. Let's see.
Ciao.
Tschüss.
Just